The princess, who spent her life in the relentless glare of the public eye, died in a speeding car in Paris, apparently trying to evade pursuing photographers.
Thursday marks 20 years since Princess Diana was killed in a car crash inside a Paris tunnel.
An off-duty French ER doctor was the first on the scene to help the princess.
For 27 years, Princess Diana's tomb remained untouched. But when the FBI finally opened it, what they found sent shockwaves around the world. The long-standing questions about her tragic death took a new turn as new evidence emerged, challenging everything people believed. From conspiracy theories to hidden truths, the revelations inside may change everything we thought we knew about her final days. What did the FBI uncover within those walls? And how will these discoveries reshape the legacy of the people's princess? Join us as we unveil what truly lay in Diana's tomb. The shadow over Diana's death. Princess Diana's tragic death in 1997 sent shockwaves around the world. A beloved public figure, her passing in a car crash was officially ruled as the result of an intoxicated driver losing control.
We have reports from Paris that Diana, Princess of Wales, has been killed in a car accident.
Yet, from the moment the news broke, questions arose. The public, unwilling to accept the simple explanation of a fatal accident, began piecing together inconsistencies, strange coincidences, and disturbing claims that painted a far darker picture. One of the most explosive allegations came from Mohammed al-Fayed, father of Diana's companion, Dodi al-Fayed. In 2008, he made a claim that shook Britain's elite. Diana was pregnant with Dodi's child, and the two were planning to marry. According to al-Fayed, the royal family, especially Prince Philip and Prince Charles, vehemently opposed the idea of Diana marrying a Muslim man. He didn't stop there. He alleged that this opposition led to a sinister plot to eliminate Diana before such a union could take place. But this was only a spark that led to an even bigger fire. In a dramatic courtroom appearance, he pointed fingers at some of the most powerful figures in Britain, including Prince Philip, Prince Charles, and former Prime Minister Tony Blair. His accusations didn't stop there. He also implicated Diana's sister, Sarah McCorquodale, two former Metropolitan Police Commissioners, and even the CIA. He suggested that a vast network of royals, government officials, and intelligence agencies conspired to prevent Diana from marrying Dodi. Rumors about Diana's death intensified after her embalming. Some suspected that the process was rushed to prevent any pregnancy tests. Richard Belzer, a well-known conspiracy theorist, highlighted this concern. However, Operation Paget, a comprehensive investigation, examined blood samples from the crash scene and found no traces of pregnancy hormones.
Controversial new documentary looks in detail at the police inquiries after the crash that claimed her life. And for the first time, we get an insight into the investigations that were carried out in the months and years that followed.
Although such hormones can linger in blood for some time, none were present in the samples tested. Diana's sudden death fueled an explosion of conspiracy theories, many of which continue to this day. People searched for clues, inconsistencies, and hidden agendas. Some were convinced that the royal family or high-ranking officials played a role in her death. Several suspicious details have kept these theories alive: the delayed arrival of medical help, the swift cleanup of the crash site, and the failure of security cameras in the tunnel that night. Adding to the mystery, Diana had written a letter to her butler, Paul Burrell, claiming she feared for her life. Her spiritual advisor had also warned her about possible foul play. Despite these concerns, Operation Paget found no credible evidence to support the claims of a planned assassination. In her famous 1995 BBC interview, Diana openly admitted feeling threatened by the royal family. While her words were chilling, they didn't prove a conspiracy. Still, for many, the circumstances of her death remain too suspicious to accept as mere coincidence. Another popular theory suggests that Henri Paul, the driver on that fateful night, was part of an orchestrated attack. Some believe he was secretly working for MI6. Richard Tomlinson, a former MI6 agent, claimed to have seen documents proving that Paul was on the intelligence agency's payroll. He also noted that Paul had vanished for 2 to 3 hours before the crash, fueling suspicions of a covert meeting or final orders. Despite earning a modest salary of $35,000 a year, Paul had nearly $250,000 in his bank account at the time of his death, plus a significant amount in cash. Tomlinson theorized that this money could have come from MI6, possibly as payment for his role in the alleged plot. In 1998, Tomlinson admitted his claim was speculative, but argued that if Paul had been an MI6 informant, it wouldn't be unusual for him to receive large sums of money. Operation Paget, however, investigated Paul's finances and found no direct links to intelligence agencies. Investigators concluded that his wealth likely had no connection to any conspiracy and that he did not possess the means to carry out an assassination. Despite these findings, doubts remain. Diana's death is one of the most talked about tragedies in modern history, and for many, the unanswered questions only deepen the mystery. The death of Paul and the mystery surrounding Princess Diana's accident.
3 people died that night. Princess Diana, Dodi Al-Fayed, and a man called Henri Paul, who was the driver.
At the time of his death, Henri Paul was a 41-year-old bachelor with no dependents relying on him financially. He had held steady employment for most of his adult life and had built his wealth mainly through rental properties, with an estimated net worth of around $340,000. Another figure linked to the swirling theories surrounding Princess Diana's death was the driver of a mysterious white Fiat, which was said to have followed Diana's car into the tunnel. Investigators found scratches on her vehicle, suggesting a possible collision between the 2 cars. This discovery led to questions about the identity of the Fiat driver and whether they played a role in the tragic crash. Some speculated that the person behind the wheel was James Anderson, a French photographer rumored to have ties to MI6. However, Anderson denied any involvement, insisting he had been at home with his wife on the night of the accident. In 2000, Anderson was found dead inside his car, and authorities ruled it a suicide. But not everyone was convinced. Some, including a man named Alfred, suspected his death was connected to Diana's crash, hinting at a cover-up. Adding to the mystery, a witness named Francois Listria, who had been driving ahead of Diana's car in the tunnel, claimed he saw a sudden flash of light just before the crash. This fueled speculation that a blinding flash was deliberately used to disorient the driver. Former MI6 officer Richard Tomlinson supported this theory, stating that such bright flashes were part of MI6 training techniques designed to confuse drivers in targeted assassinations. However, Listria's wife, who was in the car with him, disagreed with his account. Despite these claims, Operation Paget concluded that no flash had occurred. A separate French investigation determined that Paul had been driving at high speeds while under the influence of alcohol and prescription medication, which likely impaired his judgment. The only survivor of the crash, Trevor Rees-Jones, supported these findings. As the deputy security chief at the Ritz Hotel in Paris, Rees-Jones had been present on the night of the incident. Before they left the hotel, he had even jokingly taunted the paparazzi waiting outside for Diana and Dodi. Investigators also revealed that none of the passengers, including Rees-Jones, had been wearing seatbelts, which may have worsened the impact of the crash. Despite the many conspiracy theories that followed, the official investigations into Diana's death concluded that reckless driving, excessive speed, and aggressive paparazzi played the biggest roles in the accident. Reports such as Operation Paget reinforced these findings, showing that Paul's impaired state, combined with the pursuit of photographers, created a dangerous situation that ended in disaster. In the end, no matter how many theories emerged, the world was left to accept the painful reality of Princess Diana's tragic passing. But what really happened on the night of Princess Diana's death, and why does it still raise questions so many years later? The fatal night. August 31st, 1997, will always be remembered as a dark and tragic moment in history. The news that Princess Diana, a beloved member of the British royal family,
that Diana, Princess of Wales, has in fact been killed in that car accident in Paris,
had passed away shocked the world. People everywhere were in disbelief and deep sorrow. It was hard to accept that someone so full of life and loved by so many could be gone so suddenly. The sadness was even worse because of how she died. A terrible car crash in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel in Paris took her life, along with her companion Dodi Fayed and their driver, Henry Paul. The only survivor was her bodyguard, Trevor Rees-Jones, who was badly injured and had no memory of the crash. After the accident, news outlets rushed to piece together what had happened. But the details were as chaotic as the night itself. Earlier that night, Diana and Dodi had dinner at the Ritz Paris, a luxury hotel owned by Dodi's father, Mohammed Al-Fayed. To escape the constant attention of the paparazzi, they left through the back door around midnight, hoping to reach Dodi's home without being noticed. Henry Paul, the hotel's head of security, was driving the car. It was later revealed that he had been drinking before getting behind the wheel, which became a key part of the investigation. As they sped through the streets of Paris, they were chased by paparazzi on motorbikes. When they entered the Pont de l'Alma tunnel at high speed, their black Mercedes-Benz crashed into the 13th pillar. The crash was devastating. Witnesses described the wrecked car, the screeching of metal, and the eerie silence that followed. Emergency responders arrived quickly, finding Diana still alive. Paramedics worked desperately to save her as she was rushed to Pitié-Salpêtrière Hospital. Despite their efforts, she died from her injuries in the early hours of the morning. When the news broke, the world seemed to stop. Grief spread instantly. People gathered outside Kensington Palace, leaving flowers, lighting candles, and writing messages of sorrow. The streets of London were filled with mourners, struggling to come to terms with the loss. Meanwhile, the royal family remained at Balmoral Castle in Scotland, mourning in private. Many people felt frustrated by their silence. They questioned why the Queen had not immediately returned to London to support a grieving nation. As pressure grew, the monarchy finally responded. Queen Elizabeth II addressed the public in a televised speech, but for many it felt too late and not enough. Diana's funeral on September 6, 1997, was watched by about 2.5 billion people worldwide. One of the most heartbreaking moments was when her two young sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, walked behind her coffin as it made its way to Westminster Abbey. The world mourned a princess who had given so much yet had suffered so deeply. Even after her death, questions and debates continued. The official explanation was that it was a tragic accident caused by the paparazzi and a drunk driver. However, some people doubted this and believed there was more to the story. Some thought Diana had been silenced because she was becoming too influential and outspoken. Others suspected that her relationship with Dodi Fayed was the reason, believing powerful figures did not want her to marry a Muslim. Even Dodi's father, Mohammed Al-Fayed, claimed the accident had been planned to stop their marriage. Suspicion grew because of a letter Diana wrote in 1995. In it, she accused her husband, Prince Charles, of plotting to harm her in a car crash. She described a plan where her brakes would fail, causing a serious head injury, so he could remarry. She even named Tiggy Legge-Bourke, Charles's personal assistant at the time, as the woman he wanted to be with. Diana gave the note to her former butler, Paul Burrell, fearing for her safety. Because she had predicted such an event, her actual death felt even more unsettling. During this time of global mourning, Diana's family made an important decision about her burial. They chose to lay her to rest at Althorpe Estate, the Spencer family home in Northamptonshire, to prevent her grave from becoming a public attraction. She was buried on a small island in the middle of a lake called the Round Oval. The ceremony was private, attended only by close family. The decision was made to protect her grave from unwanted attention, as people remained extremely curious about her life and death. Over the years, there were rumors about the site, questions about its upkeep, and whether any changes had been made since public access was restricted. Despite this, the Spencer family stood by their decision, ensuring it remained a peaceful place for her loved ones to visit. One of the biggest sources of curiosity about Diana's life was her marriage to Charles. Many believe this played a role in the tragic path that led to her death. But how? The tragic marriage. Many people ignored the warning signs in Princess Diana's marriage to Prince Charles. Diana, deeply in love, chose to overlook them, starting with Charles's famous response during their engagement interview. When asked if they were in love, he hesitated and said, "Whatever in love means." This statement raised doubts, but Diana remained hopeful. Charles was caught between marrying someone the royal family approved of and following his heart toward Camilla Parker Bowles. Diana, a young noblewoman, believed Charles was the right man for her. She listened to her father's advice to marry for love and ignored her own concerns. In March 1981, just months before their wedding, Charles went on a 5-week trip to Australia and New Zealand. Diana, seen crying at the airport, later revealed that her tears were not about his departure, but about a troubling phone call he had with Camilla before leaving. On July 29, 1981, the world watched their grand royal wedding, but behind the glamour, there were already problems. Before the ceremony, Diana found a bracelet Charles had bought for Camilla, engraved with their initials, G and F. She also discovered other gifts meant for different women, which left her feeling hurt and betrayed. Overcome with pain and jealousy, she considered calling off the wedding. However, her father, Earl Spencer, convinced her to go through with it, fearing the shame a cancellation would bring. Some believe Charles chose Diana because she fit the royal image, young, from a noble family, and capable of giving birth to heirs. However, the fairy tale quickly fell apart. At their wedding, Diana made a small but bold choice. She left out the word obey from her vows, showing her desire to have her own voice within the royal family. But life as a princess was far from easy. She felt alone, with little support from Charles, who remained close to Camilla. The pressure of royal duties and constant media attention became overwhelming. Diana developed bulimia, struggling with self-worth. At one point, during her first pregnancy, she felt so trapped that she threw herself down a staircase at Sandringham House. Luckily, both she and her unborn child, Prince William, were unharmed. In 1982, when Prince William was born, it seemed to bring some happiness to their marriage. Charles was touched by Diana's devotion as a mother, and for a while, they appeared closer. But soon, Diana's postpartum depression set in, adding to her struggles. Despite this, she remained committed to her children. She broke royal tradition by bringing 9-month-old William with her on a trip to Australia and New Zealand in 1983, something unheard of at the time. Many admired her for this, though some criticized her decision. In 1984, Diana gave birth to Prince Harry. His arrival brought joy, but it also exposed cracks in their relationship. Charles, who had wished for a daughter, was disappointed, especially since Harry had red hair, which ran in Diana's family. Diana later said she had kept Harry's gender a secret during pregnancy to maintain a special connection with Charles. But his reaction to the birth made her feel even more unwanted. She withdrew further from the marriage even as the public fell more in love with her kindness and warmth. The media attention never stopped, adding to her stress. Behind closed doors, the marriage was breaking apart. Charles's affair with Camilla and the pressures of royal life drove them further apart. But Diana's problems weren't just with her husband. Her relationship with the royal family was also tense. After her tragic death, many wondered, what secrets did her passing reveal about this complicated royal world? Diana's bold choices. Princess Diana was seen by many around the world as the epitome of the British royal family, a true symbol of unity. By connecting the monarchy with the general public, she made it more accessible and relatable to people, even outside of the UK. Diana embodied the qualities that people hoped to see in the royal family, a mix of elegance and approachability that appealed to all. Over 2 decades after her tragic death, her influence and impact continue to be felt strongly. Indeed, her impact appears to have grown stronger, especially with her sons, Princes William and Harry, taking on significant roles within the royal family. Nevertheless, the reaction of the royal family after her passing was disconcerting. There was no public statement, no outward displays of grief, only an eerie silence. This silence was not only noticeable but also incredibly distressing. While the world mourned the loss of Diana, the royal family's restrained reaction received backlash. It seemed like they were detached, showing almost no concern for the deep sadness caused by Diana's death. To numerous people, the difference in reaction between the royal family and the public emphasized a time when the British monarchy appeared to be disconnected from the feelings of the public. What caused this reaction? The truth is that Diana had a strained relationship with the royal family long before her divorce from Prince Charles. Consistently capturing the spotlight from the Queen, she garnered plenty of media coverage, causing tensions within the royal family. Despite being surrounded by rumors, it was clear that not everyone in the royal household supported her. Diana had a fearless attitude and was not afraid to stand up for herself, often causing friction within the royal circle. One of the most significant instances of Diana asserting herself was during her marriage to Prince Charles. While speaking her vows, she quietly but firmly made a choice. Diana decided to leave out the word obey, which was typically part of the vows for royal brides.
Kate should choose to admit the word obey. She'll be only the second royal bride in history to do so, the first being Princess Diana in 1981.
Instead, she focused on pledging her love, support, respect, and commitment to Charles while excluding the obedience part. This moment was pivotal, marking a public assertion of her autonomy and subtle defiance of royal traditions. Her choice led to debate, especially as other royal brides, such as Sarah Ferguson and Sophie Rhys-Jones, followed the conventional vows. However, Diana remained unwavering, and her influence remains noticeable. Currently, Kate Middleton and Meghan Markle both emulated her, choosing to use similar language in their vows and eliminating the word obey. This seemingly small alteration in customary practices underscored Diana's enduring impact, showing how her decisions still have an effect on the royal family. Diana also broke away from tradition when it came to interacting with the public. The Queen is known for her distinctive hats and gloves, which add to a sense of seriousness and detachment, but Diana preferred to establish a more intimate bond with the people. She frequently greeted people with handshakes or held their hands, giving off a warmer vibe. Diana changed her public image by ditching hats, claiming that one cannot bond with a child while wearing one. This decision showcased her desire for a genuine connection with others, breaking away from the formal customs of the royal family. Her childbirth methods also drew a lot of interest. Before 1977, royal births usually took place at home, including Queen Elizabeth's, and involved high-ranking officials to confirm the heir's legitimacy. Queen Elizabeth gave birth to her children in Buckingham Palace, but she went against the norm by not including officials in the process, a tradition within royalty. Princess Diana later caused a major stir by opting to deliver her children in a hospital, breaking away from the typical royal birthing practices. This decision was seen as revolutionary at the time, as previous royal births had always been kept private. Diana greeted Prince William and Prince Harry at the Lindo wing of St. Mary's Hospital in London, paving the way for changes in how royal mothers are treated. This seemingly ordinary act at the time was a daring departure from royal norms, indicating a shift towards a more modern and open approach. Apart from where she was born, Diana brought in the common practice of showing royal babies to the public soon after they were born. This tradition, which gave the public the chance to celebrate the arrival of a new royal family member, was very different from the past when these moments were kept private. Her sons, Prince William and later Kate Middleton, followed suit with their kids, keeping up the custom of appearing outside the hospital with their newborns to introduce them to the world. Diana's story remains powerful because she represented authenticity within a tradition-bound institution. She showed that being royal was not just about status, but about service, humanity, and the bravery to challenge norms. Diana was admired not only for her beauty and grace, but also for her courage to speak openly about her struggles. Diana's legacy is not defined by the tragedy of her death, but by the impact of her life. She redefined what it meant to be royal, and in doing so, changed the world. Even over 2 decades after her passing, her name continues to be spoken with respect. Her work continues to inspire, and her influence is still strongly felt. She was, and always will be, the beloved people's princess. What do you think about the mystery surrounding the death of Princess Diana? Your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates. And be sure to click the next video on your screen. You won't want to miss it.